Hey everyone, I'm Brittany Jones-Cooper and welcome to Build. Roland Møller co-stars as the villain in the upcoming action thriller Skyscraper, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. We'll also chat about his upcoming film, Papillon, which is based on the true story of Henri Papillon Charrière, a man in the Parisian underworld who was framed for murder and condemned to a life in the notorious penal colonies on Devil's Island. But first, let's check out a trailer from Skyscraper.
This is stupid. One, two, three. My family is trapped 240 floors in the air.
So what's the plan?
Whatever it takes.
We got this.
Everybody put your hands together for Roland Møller. How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good.
You look super chill.
Thank you so much.
I like those shoes.
Yeah, I like them too.
Yeah, you're like really stunting right now. I wish I would have worn my tennis shoes.
Thank you. You look good too.
Yeah, thank you. So welcome to New York. I'm sure you have been on the road promoting this film. I think it's going to be one of the biggest films of the summer. So how does it feel to be a part of such a massive project?
Well, I feel pretty blessed that they took a chance on a guy like me. They must know that if somebody gives me a chance, I'll go all in on it. And I'm very proud and humbled to be a part of this big project. It's the biggest project I've done so far.
So you play the villain.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your character.
What can I say about him? His name is Botha, and the thing I'm most proud about with this is that we actually turned him into a Scandinavian gangster. Normally, the world have this perception about Scandinavia, and especially Denmark, where I'm from, with this little fairy tale country, where we follow the ducks across the street, and Hans Christian Andersen.
Little Mermaid.
Yeah, the Little Mermaid, exact. Who is pretty small. All the Americans are pretty. When they see it, it's like, is it not bigger than that? No, that's why she's called a Little Mermaid. I don't know if they're expecting the Liberty statue or something like that. No, but the thing is that we never really had a Scandinavian villain before. So I'm pretty proud that I can put a little bit of Scandinavian touch into this movie.
So what is his conflict with The Rock? Because we've seen him jumping around buildings and stuff, but you're the reason why he's doing it.
Yeah.
So what is he doing?
He's being a pain in the ass for my character, because I didn't expect him to be in that building. So I don't want to say too much because I'm going to spoil it for you.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. So playing a villain, I would think like you have to be kind of dark, and so how do you kind of channel that part of yourself?
Well, you know what? That's what I find interesting about acting, but also about playing villains, because you have to tap into the dark side. We all have a good and bad side, and sometimes, especially in Hollywood movies, they have to tend to be that the good person is good, and the bad is bad. But if you put a little bit of sympathy into the bad guy, he's more scary. And I will claim that I became a better person of playing a bad person. Yeah, because I have to be aware when I tap into the dark side. You know, we all have it. Sometimes we can walk around a whole day and do a couple of things that we didn't like, and then all of a sudden we snap out of it, and I'm like, why did I do that? So it's kind of like an energy, and I'm very aware of that energy now. So I'm able to take control of it, and even when I'm not acting, and sometimes when I'm a little bit of an asshole, I'm able to snap out of it, because it requires that I can tap in and out of it when I'm acting. So I will say I became a better person from playing a bad guy.
So you're saying when you leave the set, you can just leave it there. You don't ever take that home with you.
Sometimes you take it with you home, but the thing is that if you're aware of it, you can control it.
So this movie has a lot of really ambitious stunts. And yesterday we had the director and writer Ross in here, and we were talking about the final scene with the projectors and the kind of reflections, and you're in that scene.
Yeah.
And just how complicated was it for you, the blocking? Like, was that a challenging scene to be a part of?
It was also challenging because Roland has this vision in his head, and it is on the script, and people try to explain it, but it's still hard to imagine. I think the scene turned out really well. It reminds me of an old Bruce Lee movie, and I thought that it's on purpose that it does. And when I saw it, I saw the movie for the first time the day before yesterday, and I really think that scene works. But it was kind of challenging making it. It took many days and many shots, but I think it works really, really good in the movie.
It's one of those very memorable scenes.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd ever seen anything like it, and for that reason, I'm like, it will be a standard now, which is kind of cool to be like in the action movie where that's like a new kind of frontier. Yeah, in a way. And we had also McKenna and Noah who play the children yesterday, and they actually brought your name up. They were like,
they did.
They said you were really fun on set.
No, I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah.
But I really love these two kids, and I think they do an amazing job in the movie. And I play around with everybody on the set, and also of course I play with the kids. It's kind of my way to keep up the energy, and sometimes the grown-ups, they got a little tired of me, so I start playing with the kids instead.
That's what they said. You would play a lot of like tricks and jokes and just keep it light.
We would prank people on set because it can get very serious, and it's a lot of repetition, and sometimes if you hit a certain energy in a scene, and then you have to move the cameras around. That it takes like half an hour or something, so the energy falls down. So it's kind of my way of keeping the energy up, so you can keep hitting that level that it takes for the scene.
I just love the visual of that. Like the movie villain is the one that's making the kids energetic.
If you go on my Instagram, I made this video, and I swear to God, it was spontaneous. It was one of the last days, and I called McKenna over. I said, "McKenna, who's your favorite on this set?" And Noah was there as well, and he said, "You are." I said, "Did I tell you?" "No." "So why you think so? You're the greatest." And I was like, "No, you're the greatest." It's a kind of, and then I had to write, sorry, Rock and Nev and Chen, they like the villain better than you guys.
Oh, that is amazing.
Yeah.
Speaking of The Rock, I mean, he does so much crazy stuff in this movie. Did you ever get to hang out on set and just watch some of the movie making? Because I would imagine it's kind of fun to watch how they put it all together.
Yeah, but a lot of this is shot on a green screen. So we can only see our own performances. We don't see the big picture of it. I never shot green screen before, so that was quite a challenge. But I have a good imagination, and it helped me out in this one.
Yeah, what was the hardest part of shooting green screen? Because you really don't have anything to work with, right?
Yeah, the hardest part. It is to imagine what's going on, and sometimes you're standing outside. Now you have to scream your lines, and they start a fan. And you have to have a good imagination, but I think a lot of actors have a good imagination, so yeah.
And The Rock has done a lot of these action films. Is there anything that you learned from him by watching him, or is there any advice he gave you in scenes you were working together, or just anything you kind of picked up?
It was the other way around.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah?
No, everybody asked me that, and you know what? It didn't come to me until like a couple of weeks ago. What did I learn from being with The Rock? I struggle a little bit with being typecast. I don't know why they always see me as a bad guy, because I'm a good guy in real life. But I struggle a little bit, and also I'm very aware of if I keep playing the same parts, people will get tired of looking at me. So I complained a little bit about always being typecasted. I still do that, complain. But I came to realize if anybody in this world has been typecast, it is Dwayne. He's big, he's strong and bald, and so people, they see him in a certain way. But he never complained, he never gave up, and look where he is now. So I just think I have to stick to my plan and hang in there. And I also learned that the best part is not achieving your goals, actually, because there's no revelation when you stand there. So I'm starting to enjoy the grind. Setting the goals and then enjoying the small goals that you achieve on the way up there. So the grinding is actually what I appreciate now. Yeah.
And I think, too, to your point, he does play these action roles, but in this film, you sort of get to see him act more emotional. He's a family man. He's getting to kind of stretch out a little bit. So I guess to his point, it's like after you create the body of work, then maybe you have a little more freedom to like have more emotion in your roles or take on different obstacles, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a big movie and it is a big setup. So if you want to change something in a big setup like this, you have to do it on script basis. It's very, very few things you can change when you're on set. But regarding his acting, I think he really showed that he is a good actor in this movie. That there's multiple scenes where, and also I was there watching him, not through a camera. And he touched me several times, especially where I'm being a little harsh and I take his daughter away. I thought that was pretty emotional, and there are scenes where I really think he's doing a good acting job. I really respect him for that.
Yeah. And this isn't the only movie that you're a part of. I just got to see the trailer for Papillon. So before we talk about it, let's actually let the audience see the trailer.
Yes, please.
I love you.
Say that again.
You're under arrest for the murder of Roland Legrand.
Got the wrong guy, pal. I was with her all night.
Come on, let's go.
This is a frame-up.
Hey, Papillon, right? Got any money? Get some. Never escape without it.
Louis Degas. Guy's a millionaire. Won't last long.
You got a lot of eyes on you, my friend. For a little bit of that money you're carrying, I could keep you safe.
Keep me alive. I'll underwrite any escape you can arrange.
Something tells me you can be quite savage.
You are the property of the penal administration of French Guiana.
There's no way off.
There's always a way.
I know many of you are thinking about escape.
This is your best chance.
Feel free to try whenever you like.
I want to go with you.
There are two guardians who are always on duty. Bush, where the best thing that can happen to you is starvation. Or you could choose the sea.
What's it good for?
He's my friend.
Where the sharks are always hungry. If you manage to survive your first attempt, you'll get 2 years in solitary. Second attempt, you'll get a life sentence at Devil's Island.
Strange things happen there. Especially to those who cling to hope. If I ever get out, I'm gonna live a different kind of life.
Yeah. All right, so the coolest thing about this trailer, which I didn't know, is that it's based on a real guy. So he wrote the book first, Papillon. And can you tell us a little bit about just the story?
Well, it's supposedly Papi Henri, as his real name, wrote this story. But when we did the research, we found out that he also went to court, actually. There were some other prisoners who claimed that he stole some of their stories. We took that as an inspiration as well, and then we found a book where he actually copied phrases from the book to his own book. It's a book called Dry Guillotine, which is a really good book, which also takes place on the same island. So he borrowed a little piece here and there, and I think that just helped us to make an even greater movie, because we could be inspired for more stories. So all the people who loved the old movie called Papillon, don't be mad about this movie, because the old one is still there. We made a different movie, got inspired from more sources than just one, and I think that if you people who doesn't know the old movie, and when they see this movie, it's an awesome movie.
It looks
it's an awesome
beautiful.
story, and it's really, really good. Yeah, I normally don't say that about movies I've been in, but this one, I'm really proud of being a part of.
So what kind of prep? It sounds like you did do a lot of research into the story. Were you able to read the books that he wrote, and what kind of preparation did you do for the role?
Yeah, of course, I saw the movie again, and I read the book, and then I read the other book, Dry Guillotine, and I read some. They had some papers from court trials where we were reading as well. That was one part of it. And then there was the physical part of it. Charlie Hunnam, he's a machine. I never worked with anybody so dedicated. Like he starved himself for 5 days for the scenes where he's in isolation, and he was sitting in the sauna for like hours before he was shooting, and I was like, damn, now I have to starve myself too. You know, so he kind of like took it to the next level, but I really think it pays off on the screen afterwards. So I'm also really proud of being a part of this movie.
I noticed that because we know him from Sons of Anarchy, and you can see the physical transformation. And I think when you see an actor that dedicated, it makes you want to see the film even more.
Yeah, you have to. It's crazy what he's doing with his body in this movie.
Yeah.
And it took a while to shoot it, you know, and from the beginning of the body, you can see how fit he is, and then he starts losing weight while we were shooting. And imagine standing on a set and being hungry all the time. I mean, if I read my lines and I'm hungry and I reach the bottom, I'm sitting thinking about cheeseburgers and fries, and I'm like, fuck, I have to go up again and read it one more time. I don't know how he did it, but he pulled it off, and I'm really proud of it. And Rami Malek is awesome as well, and it's a good movie.
Who is your character in the movie?
I play a guy called Charrière. He's not that big a part in the movie, but he's a bigger part in the book. So he's a guy that they meet inside the prison. The go-to guy, if you want to get stuff.
And where did you guys shoot this?
Yeah, ironically, we shot it in Malta and in Montenegro. And it was pretty absurd when I came on set. You know, they have this nature, but it needs to look like it was in French New Guinea. So they flew in palm trees and donkeys and some local people to make it look realistic. That was pretty funny to walk from one kind of nature and you came on set. They even built the prison 1-to-1. So that was pretty freaky when I got on set. I was like, whoa, and there's a palm tree, and there's a donkey down there, and there's a guy there, and he doesn't look like he's from around here, you know. They shot it down in Montenegro. Don't ask me why.
Probably cheaper, I would imagine.
Probably some tax thing going on or something. I don't know.
And I see that your scene was like on a boat. Were you in an actual body of water? Was that like a set? Because that looks like just complicated.
It is very complicated to shoot scenes on water in a small boat, 4 persons, and they make false waves. We had some challenge with that. Without saying too much, I'm having a fight in that boat. And they start the false waves, and the camera guy is standing in the water as well, and so he couldn't. It was a little bit dangerous when the boat started rocking, and I had to wait for it. And I have this scene where I have to put Charlie down, and we rehearsed it on land. But when we were in the boat, all of a sudden I couldn't control him that well. So I was just like, at one point, I tried to put him down slowly. It didn't look realistic, so I was like, okay, fuck this. I saw the wave was just about to hit the boat. Right when it hit, I just pulled him over there and I threw him down. You can kind of like see his legs like this. And I hit him. He hit the bottom pretty hard, but he was a sport. And I looked at him, and then he blinked, and then we carried on. And it made the movie. I'm pretty proud of that, actually.
I feel like at that level, you just have to commit.
Yeah.
And like hope you don't break somebody's arm, probably.
Yeah. In that case, I could see that would take forever if we had to do it the soft way. So I took him down pretty hard, but he was a sport about it. Yeah. I respect him for that.
So you mentioned trying other roles. We have these 2 movies coming out, but for you, what would you like to see yourself in? What kind of role is kind of your next challenge?
You know what? Sometimes I should be careful what I wish for, because like I said with the typecasting, so I said to my agent, I want to play the third lover in a movie. I want to show that I can do other stuff. And then I landed this part in a movie called Glass Room, and I have this, I have 2 sex scenes. I never done that before. And I got pretty intimidated because I'm playing Clarice, who's in Game of Thrones, and she just walks around naked like it's nothing. And I was brushing my teeth and doing all kinds of stuff and getting ready, and she was just laying there. And then I was just like, shit, this is harder than doing stunts, actually. It was really hard for me. And I said to Drake, I don't know, my vanity is kicking in right here. Can I please keep the shirt on? And I've been working out for that scene for like months because I knew I was supposed to take my shirt off. But and then in the end, I had to keep it on because I couldn't really get into it. It was too fake. So sometimes you should be careful what you wish for. I talked to the directors afterwards, and he said it turned out pretty good. So yeah. But it's good to have on my resume now. I can play the third lover as well. So there you go.
I feel like you could just do a couple push-ups and you'd be good. Like, no worries.
Yeah.
Next time, try it without the shirt.
Yeah.
For your fans.
That must be the next step.
For your fans.
For my fans, yeah. Let's see what happens.
Speaking of fans, I think it's a good time to go to the audience and take a couple questions.
Yeah.
Who do we
Let's
have?
take that guy who's sleeping down there.
Where? Wake up.
It's okay, brother. I feel you.
Hi. I wanted to know, since you just said be careful what you wish for in picking roles, I wanted to know if you had the option to do any genre, what would it be and why?
You know what? Right now, I'm doing a movie about the Viking heaven called Valhalla, Northern mythology, and that was actually one of my dream part. I'm going to play Thor, the real Thor. No, I'm not going to say anything bad about the guy because he's very handsome. So I'm going to play on something else from being handsome, but I'm going to play Thor, and hopefully that will open some doors for Marvel or DC or something like that, because I'm really a big fan of adventure and fantasy movies. I love that kind of stuff.
Yes, Marvel.
Thanks for the question. It was a good question, sir.
Marvel, that would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could
Can
see
you see it?
I could totally see it.
Yeah, I can.
All right. Let's start a campaign. Who we got next?
Let's do it.
Hi.
Hello, sir.
So I was wondering how filming in like Danish films is different than doing Western films or Hollywood, and have you ever met any of the other successful Danish actors that have crossed over, like Mads Mikkelsen or Viggo Mortensen?
I met them both, Viggo and Mads. And Mads is a really good friend of mine. He was actually a friend of mine before I started acting myself, and I use him a lot. Mostly in the beginning. I've done this for 10 years now, and in the beginning I could call him and ask, how do we do this? I don't like this director, how do I cope with this? And I'm bored on set, what do I do? Can I do this and this? And he was really, really helpful. He's a really, really sweetheart, and everybody just loves Mads. And that also makes me realize sometimes when you come on a set, it is a team sport. And you're not better than the worst person in your scene. So, and he also told me that, and I realized that. So it's very important for me when I'm in a scene, if I feel someone is not comfortable, I'll make sure that they get comfortable, because that will make me look better too. And to answer your other question, what the difference is, I think that the difference is when you have a smaller set, it's easier to move things around. And it's easier to improvise and come up with ideas when you're on the set. When you do really, really big movies with big setups, if you get an idea that I think it's better if I come in from this side, they have to move everything, and it takes some time. In a small setup in Europe, there's also the producers don't have that much to say in a European movie. It's the director, and I always say that too many cooks will spoil the food, and the whole process about if you get a good idea, you have to persuade the producers, and sometimes there's more than one producer, you know. Then it's always a compromise. And if you want to make everybody happy, nobody really gets satisfied. So sometimes you just have to choose one guy and follow his vision. And we're pretty good at that in Europe, I think. And also we have some directors in Europe that listen to the actors, and whatever the actors can contribute with, they see it as a gift. Where sometimes maybe in Hollywood they see it as a diss if you come in and you have a suggestion for something. You know, you have to be really careful. I learned that I cannot go the direct way. I have to like throw a hint here and throw a hint there, and all of a sudden he picks it up and says, Roland, I got this idea. And I was like, well, that's a good idea, man. Let's try it. So I feel that there's more freedom in European movies than in American movies. But I enjoy both of it. But it is two different things, if you ask me. They also ask me on the American side, how come you make so good movies for half of the money? And I say, it's because we only have one cook. I say, oh, okay, cool, let's go over. They're not listening.
Was that a tough adjustment? I would imagine it sounds like two different worlds.
It is kind of two different worlds.
Yeah.
For me, it's also, Hollywood is also, this is where we can make money. And being an actor in Denmark, they're all struggling to make money because we're a small country. But maybe that's a blessing in disguise, because then we have to step up our game and we have to reinvent ourselves all the time. We cannot brand ourselves like that in Denmark because people will get tired of looking at you. So I see it also as a blessing in disguise. We have to step up our game. That's also why I think we write good stories. We can cover it up with special effects. We need to do good acting because we cannot hide it behind a big name, so we need to have the handcraft done proper.
I have to check out some Danish films.
Yes.
Give me a list.
Yeah.
A little list. All right.
You just Google my name and then.
Okay, that too. That too.
Yeah.
And I think we have one last question.
Yes, please.
Hi. I'm wondering what attracts you to your roles, whether it's the writing or the people attached or just the opportunities.
It's a bunch of all of it. You know what? I've learned that you don't need the best guitarist, the best bass player, and the best drummer to make good music. But if they like each other and have a chemistry, then they can make magic. And it's the same in the movie industry. I've learned that I need to have that connection to the director because in the end of the day, I have to put my vanity and pride aside and follow this guy. So it's very important for me. Chemistry is very important for me because you cannot fake it and you cannot buy it. And when you're on that, when you're on a big screen, people can just tell if you're up here when you play and you're not here because it's all about projecting feelings. So you have to feel secure in the hands of the director, and I only do that if I feel chemistry with him. So that's the thing I'm going for. And then I don't care who they are and how famous they are and what they've done before. It doesn't really matter because it's something between him and I. So I've been pretty lucky so far with the movies I've done. I had a really good chemistry with the directors. That's also why I think I deliver. People say I deliver. I always, when I look at myself, I always think, wow, man, you don't ever turn that side to the camera again. Lower your voice, and I think I look ugly, and I can always do it better. But I think that's my job to criticize myself, to always evolve. Thank you for the question.
Well, I think it looks like you've picked some good projects. We have Papillon coming out in August, and then of course, if you want to see Roland sooner, Skyscraper is in theaters this Friday, July 13th. Everybody, give it up for Roland Møller.
Thank you so much.